celebrated by Hindus. Holi is celebrated as the symbolic triumph of good over evil. The name of Holi derives from Holika. According to the popular Hindu text Bhagavatam, there was an evil, powerful king who forced his citizens to worship him as God. But the king's son, Prahlad, became an ardent devotee of Lord Vishnu. The king tried and failed, trying to punish Prahlad many times, until he plotted with his sister, Holika. Holika was immune to fire, and she tried to trick Prahlad into sitting in a pyre with her. When the pyre was lit, the boy's devotion to Lord Vishnu saved him, and he could walk away unscathed, while Holika was burned to death, as her immunity boon she had lost due to its misuse. The Holi begins with lighting up a bonfire on Holy Eve. People often throw woods, dried leaves, and twigs into bonfires. The next day, people play Holi with colors, water balloons, and water guns. Later, people enjoy delicious sweets and also dance to the beats of Holi songs and traditional folk music. Thank you.
And I've been asked to talk a little bit about the Jewish holiday of Purim. And this year, Purim and Holi fell on the same year, which is extra special. I am going to have to put these up. You can't see anything. Although we agreed at our table that the problem is that the sunglasses are not big enough. That's the issue. So I'm going to ask if maybe Sally can help me pass out something that we need for me to tell the story of Purim, because the way we tell this story is a little bit silly. And so Sally is going to pass something out to everyone while I explain the background for this holiday. So don't shake them until I tell you to, okay? So Purim means lot, like a lottery, and I'll get into why is Purim a lottery. And it always falls in late winter or early spring. It's in the Hebrew month of Adar. And we are told that when this Hebrew month of Adar comes, we are supposed to increase our joy. No matter what, it is a time of joy. And it can be really hard to always want to feel joy at this time. But one of the big themes of Purim is that joy is actually a very courageous thing to do. To let yourself feel happiness is really a brave thing to do, and it's a way to show resistance in a painful world. So Purim takes place in ancient Persia, and the story comes from the book of Esther in the Hebrew Bible. And there are funny parts and there are scary parts in the story. And one of the ways that we bring the funny parts and the scary parts together is in how we react when we hear the name of the villain of the story. The villain of the story is named Haman. Very good, you all got it. So every time you hear the name Haman, what we do is we try to blot out his name, make our noises so loud that we can't hear his name. And this is a way that we say that his frightening plans are something we're going to laugh at. We are going to make him silly rather than scary. We're going to take away his power. So when I tell you the Purim story right now, I want you to be very ready to boo every time I say his name. I'm not saying it now. Oh yes, and this is an addition. Sasha just mentioned something. Rosh. It's a very hard name. He is the king of a giant empire in Persia, what is now Iran, that stretches all the way from India to Europe in the story. And we get the idea from the beginning that he's not a very serious king. All he wants to do is throw big feasts and parties with his friends and his ministers. And so at the beginning of the story, he's throwing a party for 180 days. So he's not doing a lot of his job. And finally, he invites his queen, whose name is Vashti, to come to the party, and he says, I want all of my friends to see how beautiful you are. And she says no, and she will not come to his party. And so the king is very angry, and he banishes her. He He says, you're not the queen anymore. I'm going to find somebody more obedient than you. So he throws a beauty contest to find his next queen. And he chooses a young woman named Esther. And Esther lives with her uncle Mordecai. And they are Jewish. They are a minority in this very big empire, a minority among lots of minorities in the empire. Esther doesn't tell her new husband, the king, that she's Jewish. She's been told she should keep that a secret. And then soon after she becomes the new queen, the king chooses a top official whose name is Haman. And it's decided that every time you get near Haman, everyone has to bow down to him. But Mordecai will not bow down because he says that we only bow to God, not to people. And Haman is so angry at this that he decides that he needs to get rid of all of the Jews in the entire empire. Because one man wouldn't bow to him, he decides to get rid of the whole community. So it's kind of a scary story. It gets very dark. He casts lots, this lottery, Purim, for every day and every month to decide which will be the most lucky month for me to do my evil plan. And the lottery falls on the month of Adar, and that's why Purim is in Adar. So he convinces the king to sign off. The king's scribes send messages throughout the entire kingdom describing this evil plan. And the Jews are terrified. They start to weep and mourn. And then Esther hears, and she summons her uncle Mordecai. Yay! And Mordecai tells her, you have to go to your husband the king and plead for our lives. But Esther thinks that's just as scary a possibility because it's the law that if you go before the king when he has not asked you to, you will die. So she's in danger no matter what. Mordecai tells her that maybe she's been given this position of power exactly for a moment like this. Maybe it's her opportunity to save her whole community, and that's why she became queen in the first place. So she decides she will risk her life by going before the king without being summoned to plead with him for mercy and justice. And she does, and thankfully he's pleased to see her. He happily grants her request to have a banquet with him. We know he likes his feasts and his parties. And she says, let's have a banquet with you and, oh, how about your friend Haman? And so the king says, that's great, I love a party. Well, we'll invite my friend Haman. And there's a few twists and turns, but finally, Esther reveals her identity to the king. She tells him about Haman and his evil schemes, and the Jewish people are saved. And there's a little bit more that comes after that, but that's okay. Where the Jews get their vengeance. We don't talk about that part.
Why is she white and black? So it kind of like Saul. He's like, just go play holy, then you'll all be like blue and black. And so you kind of learn like different stories, but you also learn like easier to understand versions of stories when you're young. Yeah.
Thank you.